Well, let's take a look at what America's going through now. So, on the outer wheel, you'll see the transits of today, which is a new moon. You'll see at the top of the chart, you got the sun and the moon
Mhm.
coming together. That's a new moon. It is
Oh,
an
that's right. It's a
eclipse.
good day to be doing this too.
Yeah, it's a solar eclipse
Yeah.
today. This one's a lot less intense than the lunar eclipse that we just went through. That
Hmm.
one was rough.
Mm.
So, everybody out there that went through it, I'm sorry, you do have a destiny and you do have a path in this life. Do not forget it and do not throw yourself away because of it.
It will not let you deviate. It'll keep unfeathering your nest until you pay attention.
It is not playing. Okay. So if you see down here Pluto and Pluto, this is the symbol here. Pluto's 1 degrees Aquarius, and
Mm.
our Pluto for America is 27 degrees Capricorn. Okay. And there's another symbol in this area too. This is America's finances. And if America was a person, I would tell them in their reading, I would say that in past lives, you had an erratic loss of value
Mm.
or money. Okay. And America is that energy's coming forward in a way. And I believe it's very symbolic of the Fed, the fiat currency that was supposed to, of course, go for 99 years. And I think it's up to 120 something.
Huh.
Okay. And so it was created in this way that 99 years down the road, we would have to figure out something. Why didn't we? Why didn't we figure out something? Okay. And of course, the early 2000s is why we didn't figure out something. We got distracted by some things. And, you know,
Mm.
I don't care who's behind anything. I can only look at what happened as an astrologer and how it affected the people and our direction. But, in 1999 into 2000, 2001, and 2, we should have changed the financial system at that time.
Yeah.
But there
Well, we
was
got
too much
distracted.
greed. Well, there's too much greed.
Yeah.
And America, how greedy do we have to get before we realize that we are destroying ourselves and our future for our children? And it's obviously pretty greedy,
Hmm.
okay? Because notice that it's easy for us to compartmentalize that reality, and not look at what we could be doing in the world if we had those things to do it with. And see, the
Right.
financial system is a debt system, so it's not developed to help people. It's not a system of worth, it's a system of slavery.
Mm.
And it says debt on the dollar, okay? On the note, it says debt.
Does it?
It does, debt note, okay? And that is, for me personally, I've always had a problem with it, okay? And I cannot interact with it in the way that other people do. And it has not been easy with that, okay?
Mm.
Because once you know it's slavery, how can you go back and live in it like it's going to fulfill you in any way?
Right.
So I do think the world needs a shift. And, we have an asset-backed world. Well, why don't we have asset-backed money?
Mm.
Why? We used to. And we've gone through this. There's actually history, if you want to look some of it up, it's fascinating of when we've done this in America's history of created a Federal Reserve and create a fiat currency.
When did
Okay.
we move away from that?
Our ancestors, they convinced them to turn in all their gold. They convinced them to get rid of the precious metals
Mm.
and to go for it, of course. And they did. And, you know, for me personally, okay, and I'm going to blame this on college a little bit, okay? I was in a college economics class, and the book in class was Will America Grow Old? I don't know if you ever came across this,
Uh-uh.
but in this economics class, this is 2000, maybe, no, this is like 97, okay? 97, 98, 30 years ago. And in the book, he shows that America's social system and Social Security could not ever, ever go past 2017
Okay.
because the numbers do not add up on any way because the baby boomers is a huge population of people.
Hmm.
And they are living longer than our ancestors ever
Absolutely.
did, right? And there is no way they can meet it.
Hmm.
And that really changed my perspective of where America was headed. And I wish I was disappointed, okay, and wrong. Okay. I do really wish I was wrong because notice that our parents are those people,
Yep.
and they have really bought into the social system in this way. But when they've dipped into it over and over again, they've decimated it. They have done really terrible things and then propped it up any way they can.
Mm.
Okay. Because who's voting for presidents? Okay. They
Yeah.
are. The
Yeah.
rest of us are like, I don't know if I even want to be involved.
Yeah. I
Okay.
haven't had a I haven't had a candidate I've wanted to vote for in my voting lifetime.
Right.
It's the lesser of two evils is really how I've always had to look at it.
And, that comes to, us needing a third party system to
Absolutely.
create any. At all.
Hmm.
But of course, nobody is ever talking about that or interested in that in any way. Okay. And I think it's because our nature is to destroy ourselves.
Mm.
And it's not the political world just a mockery of destroying our connection to each other, neighbors. All the stories I hear about people now.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely coming to a head.
Right. So, on that note,
Mm.
America is going through its dark night of the soul. And just recently, Saturn and Neptune went to the fourth house of the chart here, transit. Now, for the last 2.5 years, from late 2022, America was around communication and restriction of information and also restriction of individuality
Hmm.
has been a major thing. And America's been depressed. Okay. And we had to come out and start communicating. And do you remember fact checking?
Oh yeah. I still
Saturn,
I still request fast checking websites. They just aren't very good anymore.
right. This is the communication house and Saturn sit on it in 2022. Talk about fact checking. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Okay. And, at the end of this period of idealism that we've been in, we are seeing the destruction and the restriction of what it is not to trust ourselves.
Mm.
And that's what everybody's being asked right now to trust themselves. And if you don't trust yourself, then everything has betrayed you. Okay. And I'm sorry, but we only betray ourselves.
Mm. It's
And
a spiritual journey. It's an internal one. Nothing is going to open your path for you. You have to look within. It's
right.
already there. So the
I
mirror
mean, right.
between what the US pattern and what society appears to be dealing with at large is incredible.
It is the fear of not having security will be
Yeah.
dealt with in 2026. And, you know, there's another interesting thing that's happening, which is not necessarily America oriented, but it's really come to my attention lately. And before I get there, I want to say that this restructuring of our inner security and our inner spirituality is going to come through a very different energy than we've been living in.
Hmm.
And that energy is very tangible, and we call it harmony through conflict. And it says that what we face, we change. What we run away from, we don't.
Yeah. The path of the warrior.
And yes, it's Aries. So it
Hmm.
is time for Americans to understand that there is no more room to be soldiers. It's time for us to be warriors. And
Hmm.
warriors put themselves first and they face death so that nobody or nothing inside of them can use it against them. We have to start living like we have nothing to lose.
Hmm.
And what do we really have to lose? Have we not lost everything in the last couple of years? Like our families, our
Hmm.
sanity, okay? Our being able to
Trust.
talk to somebody on the
Yeah.
street without them losing their minds,
Yeah.
okay? Right. So, on a different note, one thing we get into astrology, there's a lot of books that say that when we discover a planet, we are ready to consciously process that. For example, the Uranus was discovered and we had the Industrial Revolution. It changed
Mm.
everything on the planet. Neptune was discovered. We have photography at the same time coming forward where you can take a picture of something and if there's some things there that weren't there in your eyesight.
That's so
Okay.
cool.
Pluto was discovered and we made the atomic bomb.
Ugh.
Uh-huh. Right. And in 1977, Chiron was discovered.
Hmm.
And Chiron it's just a little smaller than Earth. Okay. They call it a planetoid. Okay. Earth is really small. Okay. On the scale of things in the universe. But Chiron orbits in between Saturn and Uranus. And this is structure and revolution. This is what we call the rainbow bridge between the two. And in your brain, we would call that the corpus callosum.
Hmm.
It's what connects your hemispheres together. And Americans, everybody, we are half brain people where we think we can fix everything. And when we're not there, we feel like the past repeats itself and everything keeps happening over and over to us. And that is the tilting of our magnetic field to the left or the right brain.
Hmm.
Now Chiron represents what it is to live multidimensionally and to face the lesson of loss and separation, which is death. And as we get older and our parents pass and friends pass, and we begin to face what it is to live by facing death, and is a big part of the Chironic journey. And this next year, 2026, Chiron turns 49 years old from its discovery. And its cycle is a 49 to 51 year cycle, which we call the consciousness crisis. And so America or the whole planet is going through 2026, 2027, 2028, its consciousness crisis. And we can either choose to live in the light and matter of the world, which makes up 3% of it, and think that's all that exists. Or we can look at the unseen world and realize that our feelings are important.
Hmm.
And, science even tells us now that the unseen part of everything bends light and connects every single thing together in the universe called the cosmic web.
Hmm.
Okay. And I usually ask people, what's the percentage of manifesting something from 3% versus 97? Okay. So our world thinks that only what is seen is available, but how they feel about things tells a different story. And since we are trained to avoid our feelings, okay, that means we begin to attract everything that we don't want through the law of sympathetic vibration.
Right.
I'm like, no, universe. And it's like, oh, you want this?
Yeah.
Cool. You're telling me, please give it to me.
Yeah. We put out that message over and over again. It will eventually give it to us.
It loves to give it to us because it hears how we
Yeah.
feel. It doesn't hear what we think or do. you know? So if healing emotional problems was intellectual, I'll tell my clients usually that you're a very smart person. You would have figured this shit out already. It's not
Right.
intellectual, it's physics, it's sound, and it adheres to the laws of physics, not our opinions. That's why if you feel betrayed, you just didn't stop feeling betrayed. You may become bitter. If you feel judged, you didn't stop feeling judged. You just pushed it away and detached from yourself, which didn't allow forgiveness to come in and understanding to come in. And it's time for us to go through things and realize that we were taught to live against nature. So I'm sure the problems that we're having right now, every generation has seen these problems, but we're the generation that is here to create a new foundation of integrity, of worth, and family values. And that's what I see being destroyed in the world And why? Why are we destroying the family? Why don't we honor the dead in our country anymore? I don't really get it because I know we love our grandparents and we love our parents, okay? But we don't have a way to face those things, a way to face death. And that's what this Chiron return is coming forward, that if we don't face death, your mind will use it against you. And
And
if
it
you've
being in
ever,
the fourth house, how does that play with the
our feelings are heart. It's the heart of America.
mm,
Imagine that the number of the houses are your chakras. So that's the heart chakra.
heart?